The show's called Naughty But Nicer, and the idea behind the show was I was looking at old images of like pinups and women, artists that would paint women and the figure. And what ended up happening was a lot of it early on had to be hidden, and it was almost looked at as an underground art form, kind of like taboo. So when I heard that and I started reading into it, what ended up happening was I kind of like put two and two together and said, you know what, that reminds me of graffiti, because graffiti at the very beginning was an underground art form that, we did it for ourselves, and, the rest of society didn't accept it. So it was kind of like that old school pinup art form that, was, had its movement undergrounds, and people weren't really, giving it a lot of attention, and those that did, appreciate it had to hide it. So it was the same way for like graffiti artists. So I thought that would be a dope idea to put both these things together and kind of create this marriage of like this seductive women shape and, like graffiti tags. And, the reason why I chose tags instead of pieces was because it goes back to its origins of the original graffiti was a hand style. Someone wrote their name. And then, somebody saw that and said, well, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do an outline around it. Somebody saw those two things and said, well, I'm going to do those same two things, but I'm going to put dots in mine. And, it evolved from there, but it evolved from a tag. So if you look at a lot of the backgrounds of all the pieces, there's, the tag is really prominent. And I want something that, the tag to be part of the actual piece, but I didn't want it to be too overwhelming. So I still wanted the figure to be the overwhelming, or the strongest part of the overall, artwork. On this piece here, like, I try to play on colors, and one of the things that, I love that plays against this orange and brown background is, this violet blue kind of like wash that I put over. The mediums that I used, I paint in acrylics. So it would be acrylic painting over spray paint. So the background's all spray paint. So I stay true to, who I am. I'm a graffiti writer, and I'm always going to use spray paint. But I've always, been, fascinated by, brush strokes and like things that you can do with acrylics and with oil paints and stuff like that. But most of the sets, almost everything in this series, in the whole show, is all acrylics over spray paints.